So this is Pancake Mountain. It's one of the most difficult areas to reach in the entirety of Halo 3. But why is this mountain so difficult to reach? Well, it's simple. Pretty much every layer of it is outside of the map. So, is it possible to conquer Pancake Mountain? Let's give it a try! So let's talk a little bit more about Pancake Mountain. Yes, I did completely make that up, but to me it looks like a stack of pancakes. Delicious pancakes with maple syrup and butter dripping down. Yummy. Now, Pancake Mountain is located on the second half of Tsavo Highway in Halo 3. Once you enter this section of the mission, you'll immediately be able to see Pancake Mountain and a mountain across facing it. Now, this is part of the same mountain range that extends like a sea all the way around. Now, I know what somebody might say. If you got up to the mountain outside the map, could you just walk to the other side? It's clearly connected. And the answer to that question is, unfortunately, no. Right before you reach the top of Pancake Mountain, where you can stand along the barrier, there's this very steep little ledge. And because the geometries of the outside map barrier and the texturing of the mountains, there's no way to get just from this mountain crest to the other side. It's just simply too steep. So, how was I planning on doing this? Warthog! But not just one Warthog, two Warthogs. My plan was to take these so far outside of the map that I could get within a few hundred feet of Pancake Mountain. Then, my plan was to stack one Warthog on top of the other because of how flat the outside map barrier is, so that I could angle myself towards Pancake Mountain, throw a plasma grenade at the bumper, and launch really fast and high. Because I needed multiple Warthogs, I was going to need a way to get them to the end of the mission. Luckily, there's a grav lift in this little shack. If you use this grav lift on the broken highway, you can take multiple Warthogs to the end section. Once you get to the part of the highway with all the barriers, you'll need to throw this grav lift near the left side opening just before the actual barriers. Jeez. This way we have enough space to be able to jump over them. Good placement, nice. I did something well. So surprisingly, this trick was already off to a good start, but we hadn't really started the trick yet. I instructed my brother not to kill any of the enemies or race at the beginning of this section of the mission. Keep these enemies for now.
I'm gonna kill them?
No.
You said keep them. Okay.
Yeah, we need to get our Warthogs up here and launch them outside of the map. The reason for this is pretty simple. We were going to need at least a couple of checkpoints in order to get our setup with the Warthogs outside of the map. We cleared out all the enemies just before the shield barrier that you have to destroy, that once destroyed ends the mission. But we saved one enemy for a checkpoint. Okay, we're going to need to launch these Warthogs like pretty far outside of the map. Oh, nice checkpoint. We randomly got a checkpoint. Now we just needed to launch these Warthogs outside of the map fully intact. Okay, we're going to double frag and then shoot it with BRs. 3, 2, 1. You hit the line. 2, 1. Oh, it's gotta live. It did. So we were able to successfully get one Warthog outside of the map without it exploding. Now we just need to get a second Warthog outside of the map fully intact. 2, 1. So we only had one more potential checkpoint, and that would be from destroying the wraiths that we left earlier in the mission. This means that every single time one Warthog is destroyed, we have to reset because we need both of them outside of the map. Like I said in the intro, the floor outside of the map is flat. There's no way to angle this Warthog towards Pancake Mountain with just one Warthog. We were finding that getting even one Warthog out intact was becoming more challenging as this was going on. In Halo 3, if you can get the Warthog to land on its tires, it's not likely to explode. But it's also really hard to adjust a Warthog in midair with just a battle rifle, especially considering that we're shooting at it from hundreds of feet away and there's no solid map floor for a reference point. The Warthog actually lands on an invisible barrier. The quote-unquote texturing that you see outside of the map is actually about 50 feet under the invisible barrier. You got pretty lucky on that one.
I'm really good at this
saved
game.
your ass.
It was all me.
So now that we had 2 Warthogs outside of the map barrier on the map floor, both intact, we now needed to get ourselves outside of the map and to the Warthogs. If you jump up on this little post station and then jump up on this shade turret, you can throw a frag grenade just below your feet, and with the right timing you can get on top of this light post. Then if you run and jump at the last second, you can land on this pipe. From here, you can follow the pipe all the way until the end. If you crouch and throw a frag grenade directly into the middle of the pipe, you can use this blast to get to this upper ledge. Then if you follow this exact path, you can break outside of the map barrier. All we have to do here, I think there's an invisible barrier and then you have to go up here and then you're outside. So now that we're outside of the map, the real challenge begins. We now have to get to the bottom of the map floor without dying. And this is extremely steep. This guy's a checkpoint. I had my brother and my other player that I was using spawn on me outside of the map. This way we would have a spawn beacon in the inevitable case that we had to do this over and over.
Bippity boppity.
Is this solid?
See, this just illustrates once again Bungie going above and beyond. That's hilarious.
This is why Halo 3 is the best.
There is no reason for this.
Holy shit. Can I use this to get down? So I don't actually remember this line being in the original game.
No shit, dude. That's cool.
No way. Dude, I didn't even know about this. I probably had seen it before, but it had been so long since I'd gotten outside of this area map barrier that I didn't know just how long this line ran in the air. Uh-oh,
I'm trying to focus. Stop talking. Stop.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, show.
I'm spawning next to you.
How's it feel?
So I initially tried just jumping off this line because 1, I wanted to see how far below the actual map floor was, and 2, I wanted to see if I could just survive by jumping down. But what I found was the end of this line to the bottom of the map floor is a little bit too steep for one player to manage. Now, if you stacked one player on another player's head and then jumped off while in midair, you could probably make it from the end of this line. But there was a problem with this. After dying, I kept spawning off the edge of the line. So, after killing me about 50 times, I instructed my brother to walk up the tightrope so we could find another way to get to the bottom of the map.
I have to go back up the tightrope. Is there a kill barrier here?
We have to go around it. So the problem with trying to get to the bottom of this map is Bungie didn't texture the side of the mountain that is not visible from inside of the map. This means we would have to work our way along an invisible barrier trying to find a weak spot where we could get to the bottom without dying from fall time. Fortunately, I was able to get this on just the 3rd try. Oh, I made it.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you do that, dog?
Just went over here area. So if you hit the right map barrier, you can crouch to the first section. But you have to be careful because there's another vertical cliff face that's invisible. Now, to be completely honest, I got really lucky doing this because I wasn't really paying attention going down either cliff face. So even though we were to the bottom of the map barrier, we weren't out of the woods yet. There are invisible barriers everywhere down here.
Oh gosh, we're in the big oozy woozy.
Stand behind me.
My pants off?
Preferably not.
Oh, okay. I'll put them back on.
There's a death barrier somewhere around here. I had my brother spawn on me and follow directly behind me so that we had one player alive in case I ran into the death barrier. But now, we needed to go get our Warthogs. Although they're just casually glassing some farms in the background.
They are, dude. I never noticed that before. There's a farm. Can we get over there?
Wait. Stop. Damn, those Warthogs are so far away. So at this point, we had a pretty big problem. This may not be good. Just at the base of the cliff face that's in the map is the first death barrier. Really not good. This death barrier extends hundreds of feet past the base of the cliff. When we launched the Warthogs outside of the map earlier, our intention was to launch it far enough to get past this death barrier. But at this point, we were about 500 feet away from the Warthogs and still hitting the death barrier. Yeah, this is, precarious. Stop glassing my farm! So we knew that this attempt was already failed. We couldn't get anywhere near the Warthogs to throw a grenade to launch them outside of the actual death barrier. But we had already spent so much time getting out of the map, I wanted to make sure that we could potentially have a setup in a different spot of the map entirely. Not cool, man.
How did you survive that?
I don't know.
Yeah, you must have ran into a death barrier or something. That's crazy.
Kakarot.
Vegetable. It's the barrier, dude. Just throwing grenades at you. I don't know what's going on.
This fucking guy, mate. He's a depth shot. So after about legitimately 10 minutes of walking, we were near the other side of the map entirely. But luckily, this side was looking a lot more promising for us. We were able to stand far closer to the cliff face than on the other side. This meant that potentially launching a Warthog outside of the map to the outside map barrier was looking like a real possibility. Okay, we could definitely get the Warthogs out over here.
You want me to do this all again?
Yeah, I gotta see how far you can go. Okay, now we gotta run it back. Get these Warthogs over here and up to here. After 20 minutes and restarting the mission, we were ready to get our hogs back out of the map. But this time, the approach was going to be much more simple. Okay, we have 3 beautiful hogs to get out of the map.
Three beautiful hogs.
Instead of using grenades and shooting the Warthog and hoping that it doesn't blow up, we were just going to ramp them straight off the side of the cliff.
Alright, I'm gonna do this. Watch this. It didn't turn at all. Damn it. Actually, I think I got it. I got it. That one worked.
Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing then.
Okay. So let's try it. Take it from the top. I want that the bongo drum.
Okay, I think we got them out sufficiently, so we too need to go to the end of the mission now. So after spending another 15 minutes breaking out of the map barriers, we were finally at our Warthogs outside of the map. So I tested the death barrier in relation to the Warthogs and discovered that all 3 Warthogs were either partially or entirely in the kill barrier. This would mean that I'd need to throw perfectly placed grenades to launch them into the livable area. But there's a lot of risk with this because if you hit it the wrong way, it gets even harder to aim a grenade to have any meaningful effect. When looking at how far these Warthogs were away, I decided it would be better for a third player that was in the map to throw grenades from above. It would be a lot easier to throw a grenade right next to the Warthog and get the distance required to get it into the livable area. Okay, we need to get those Warthogs over here.
I just wanted to avoid.
So our original intention was to throw frag grenades at the bottom of the map barrier and bounce it so the Warthog would then fly towards us. But there's a little bit of an issue with this. When you throw frag grenades at this map barrier, they go right through the bottom. I wanted to avoid using plasma grenades in the case that I stuck one of the Warthogs because I didn't want to blow it up. But it looked like that was going to be the only option.
Wow, that killed me. That's good. Ooh.
Bingo! Even though these Warthogs were much closer, we still had another issue. We were now facing the Warthogs and had to stick them with a plasma grenade, but had to get them to blow in the direction of us. And we'd still have to stick them with a plasma grenade. If I had to stick these too many times, they would eventually blow up. There we go. Now that I had these 2 Warthogs in the livable space, I needed to stack one Warthog on top of the other. but I only wanted its back wheels on this. I needed to be angled towards Pancake Mountain if I wanted to pull this off. With the tilt and Cowbell skull, you can get insane launches by standing on top of a Warthog after sticking its bumper. After hours of trying to get this set up, we were finally ready. All we needed to do was have our third player that was in the map kill the race that we saved from earlier. Then we would get a checkpoint and could replicate attempts. There are no checkpoints? Are you kidding me? For whatever reason, the game didn't trigger a checkpoint after we killed the race. This would mean I'd only have one singular attempt. Guess I get one shot at this.
You can do it. I believe in you.
How is this the last checkpoint? This dude, I'm done. So, I gave up on this method entirely. This just wasn't efficient. If I was going to pull this off, I was going to have to do this in an easier way. And the next week, I had an idea. Instead of going to the bottom map barrier outside of the map, I was going to go outside the map to the cliff face just across from Pancake Mountain. My plan was to use a deployable cover to launch all the way across this gap. This method would also make it really easy to get a checkpoint, and the attempts would be repeatable. I found a relatively flat spot at the top of this other mountain. I instructed my brother to destroy the race and get a checkpoint. In order to deployable cover launch, you have to look straight down, and just as you're about to hit the ground, throw the deployable cover. If you move slightly forward as you're falling, you'll get stuck in the shield barrier. Your character model along with the model of the deployable cover will then spaz out. This then results in really far launches.
Oh, my shoulder. Oh, golly. Can be?
Ooh, that was a decent one. I think I'm too high though. So after a while of doing this, I was launching too well. I was going too far and too high. I didn't really see a way that this was going to work out. Try a couple more times. Unless I got some 1 in 500 launch, I was going to have to spend a lot of time investing in trying to get there with a deployable cover. So for this reason, I decided to once again restart the mission and try a new method entirely. I was going to stay in this section of the map, but my plan was to get a Warthog out and then launch across. I got outside of the map once more, and I positioned my Warthog across from Pancake Mountain, but this time upside down. I angled it at about a 45, and my plan was to stick the bumper and use the bottom of the Warthog to launch me across the gap, but not too quickly. Ah. Oh. No. Come on. Oh.
Oh.
No!
Well, it's always work when you don't need it to.
After over an hour of failed attempts, the upside-down Warthog method just was not working. It was very rare that I got the distance to be close, and even when I was close, I was always moving too fast to be able to jump off my piece of equipment, which was the trip mine. So I had to restart this again, but I had a different idea entirely. This time, I was going to take a Warthog outside of the map, and instead of putting it upside down, I was going to find a slanted surface and back it up against this. I found a decent spot, activated a checkpoint, and all I needed to do was stick this bumper and hopefully launch across. I did it. I'm sick as hell, I'm sorry. Oh, that was not a good time for that to have happened. Wow. Well, that's right here. Dude, that was pretty sick. Ooh. I wouldn't have got there without that deployable cover jump either. Look at this view, though. Pretty sick view. You never really get to see Tsavo Highway from this kind of like angle. Hey, those are the rings from the earlier part of the mission. This part, you can still see it. I got another checkpoint when I was outside the map because I wasn't done exploring Pancake Mountain yet. I wanted to try to see if I could get all the way to the bottom layers. Okay, I had a checkpoint at least. I had a player 2 go get a checkpoint by killing those wraiths. Oh, I can't believe I just made it down like that. That was scary as hell. Nice. Oh. Well, nice. We did it.